The closed gate. Okay. I wake up to a morning sun brighter than usual. The bed I lay on felt soft too, though perhaps this is just my imagination.
You wake up quite late.
Hearing a dismayed voice from the corner of the room, I get up suddenly. He's like, I've been waiting for hours. That's right. Yesterday, I and Nohl were a husband and wife who faked the ceremony, and upon this soft bed, he ordered me to... Suddenly recalling the atrocious events of last night, my blood pressure quickly rose. Looking resentfully to the corner of this room, I saw Nohl, who appeared to be working. Well, he at least works quietly while you're sleeping. It looks like he didn't get any sleep. The top one shows personal interest, so we'll do that. Okay. You didn't sleep?
Oh, you must be in good spirits to show concern for the enemy.
I can't have you dying on me and breaking our contract. Despite my spiteful reply, Nohl smiled as if mocking me while continuing to write with his brush.
I wanted to take a rest, but thanks to a certain someone last night, I wasn't able to get my work done.
Sorry about that.
No, it was a fun evening.
What creep would find that fun? Of course I don't say this. If I did, I can already see a hurtful counterattack heading my way.
Well then, let's finish up before the time comes.
Time? As I was about to ask this, Nohl approached and dripped some liquid onto the bed. Was it really that difficult to do that from the beginning? I know that's not the point. You wanted her to humiliate herself in front of you, and then you thought better of it, but like, was this really not easier? I was surprised at the sudden action, then frowned as I realized what the liquid was. Where did you get blood from? A very small amount of red dripped onto the bed sheets. It looked like blood. He must have gotten it from somewhere in order to show proof of having done the ceremony. Did you get that from a person? It may have been rude, but if we're talking about Nohl, it wasn't out of the question. As I asked, Nohl grinned and looked out the window. Better not to ask where the blood came from.
I got this from one of your kind.
Getting off the bed, I followed his line of sight. Leaning out of the window to look, I could hear a hoarse whinny from what looked to be a stable. What is it guys are in this game are constantly like, you're a wild horse, woman. Is that so? My spirit would break if I reacted to every one of Nohl's nasty provocations. I quickly changed my thoughts and began to get dressed. Ah, come to think of it. As I went to change clothes, I stopped suddenly. Do you have a partition somewhere around here? Nohl, who had already resumed his work, didn't bother looking, responding as if he couldn't care less.
Why?
Why? I can't change clothes.
Sure you can. Don't mind me.
I do mind you.
Are you aware of what I'm doing now?
You're working?
Yes. As such, I don't have the time to gawk at a naked woman.
Implicitly, he was saying, you're too self-conscious, which hurt my self-esteem a little. Oh, Naala. Well, if he has seen enough to make him tired of it, he would lose interest. And it wouldn't make me happy at all for Nohl to be interested in me, so this actually works out for me. At this point, for these snide remarks to have any effect on me means that I'm still weak. I smile wryly as I remove my upper garment. I think I left the undergarment around here yesterday. I looked around for my folded clothes. I then caught Nohl looking at me for whatever reason. So, were you not working, sir? And his gaze was transfixed on me. Oh?
Yes.
I thought you didn't have time for that.
I have no interest in a woman's naked body, but there is a necessity for me to know the contours of my wife's body. Oh, but please, don't mind me. I have prepared replacement undergarments there, so please remove all of your clothes.
Give me a partition.
I wonder how Miss Shalu is doing.
Fine, I'll take off my clothes. Taking them off. I let out a scream of desperation and take all my clothes off. I felt like the last of my self-esteem had been discarded with my clothes, which made me feel a little sad. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. At this point, I might as well think of Nohl as a cow, or a horse, or even a jar. Anything other than being a human. A jar, eh? I like that. I did my best to just exist and push this out of my consciousness and got dressed twice as fast as usual. I noticed that there wasn't a replacement for the cotton wrap I usually wrapped around my chest. I knew I'd folded it up and put it in the same place as the rest of my clothes before going to sleep, but I couldn't see it anywhere.
Oh, is this perhaps what you are searching for?
Turning around with just my face, I could see him playing with my wrap with his white fingertips. I was like, why do I feel like he's sitting on her clothes, basically? To be like, well, come over here and get it. What a brat! Sheesh. If I were to go retrieve it, I'd have to turn and face Nohl. Nope, just walk backwards. It's fine. I believe in you, Naala. Oh well, no other choice. I'll put all my clothes on, go get the wrap, then come back and take everything off.
Please hurry up. Surely my wife isn't thinking of something so inefficient as putting her clothes back on just to take them off again.
Could you throw it to me?
I am quite busy. Please come and take it.
I fail to see how he can be so busy with his gaze completely fixed on me. It would feel so good to say that. I swallow the urge to retort at him, cover my chest with my arms, and head towards him. Here, I came to get it.
Shall I wrap it for you?
No thanks.
Shall I wrap it for you?
Having repeated the same phrase, it included a warning of, I won't ask you a third time. Letting out the biggest sigh of my life, I lower my arms in a sense of self-abandon. Look at that face! Yeah. Instead of going ahead and putting the wrap on, Nohl haughtily rocked back in his chair. Ay, he's taking full advantage of this bet. It's gonna suck. He crossed his legs and took in the sight under the bright sun. That sight being me without any clothes on.
Your skin looks especially white in the morning sun.
Yeah, whatever. Just put the wrap on.
Whoops, my hand slipped. Please retrieve it.
Under the desk! Under the desk! Man, I have dealt with some brats in these games, but this guy might just take the freaking cake. Very intentionally, he dropped my cotton wrap under his work desk. Where he dropped it was just the worst. If Nohl didn't move, there would be only one way to retrieve it. Just go around the other side of the desk. I'm sure you can reach underneath it. From that side, it'd be fine. Then can you move over?
That would be troublesome, so please retrieve it as is.
My wrap had fallen a little bit behind Nohl, who was facing me. In order to retrieve it, I'd have to press my chest into Nohl's thighs as he was sitting down. Holy! Where's my ice bucket? You're awful, pervert.
Shall we end things?
Grinding my back teeth, I knelt down on the floor. Taking one deep breath, I took the plunge and leaned forward. The bulges of my chest pressed into and swelled around Nohl's thighs.
You're quite forward.
And whose fault is it that I'm in this position?
Oh, this is all the result of your decisions.
The sound of him slurping tea above my head only makes me more frustrated. Sipping tea? Lord. Oh, I want to shake this man. He's calmly drinking tea while making a person do this. I think I said sipping too, but no, he was slurping that. Slurping the tea. I suppressed the urge to punch him in his cool face and reach for my wrap. Just a little bit more. You're still down there, girl. Hurry it up. And just as I had almost reached it...
My apologies, my leg slipped.
Nohl kicked the wrap with his heel, sending it tumbling further back. This is the first time in my life that I felt this degree of murderous intent.
It's nice that you are gaining valuable experiences. Well then, hurry up and retrieve it.
Just how vulgar is this guy? I think he's enjoying pushing me this far. You think?
Oh my, what a lovely morning this is.
I'd feel lovely strangling you with my wrap.
While I do enjoy restraints, I am not fond of being restrained.
Well, that is just too damn bad at this point. I wasn't asking about your fetishes. I desperately reached forward while trading verbal barbs with him. I would lean forward, stretch out as far as I could, and then take a rest. Repeating this several times, the peaks of my chest began to hurt due to friction from rubbing against his clothes. Why are you resting? What need is there for resting at this point? The strange pain stimulated my brain and stiffened my body. You're all in on this childish bullying, aren't you?
Do you know why the bullying of children is so frustrating? It's because it's the most cruel.
I absolutely was getting no pleasure from this, but I hated feeling like my body was responding to this in any way? Question mark? Naala, I worry about your fetishes. I really do. We're only on Route 3. I think I've been worried since Route 1, but I'm just getting progressively more worried as time goes on. I tried to calm my body, but once I became aware of it, it made me even more sensitive. Impatient, I stopped moving and waited for things to calm down. That's why you're resting? This is why you're resting. This isn't gonna help. Oh, good lord. I'm with this guy! I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm with this guy! Come on!
Do not take a break. Hurry up and retrieve it.
He hadn't moved his thighs, but he raised them slightly, strongly pressing into me. My body, which had become sensitive due to the thorough rubbing, became numb just from that. A twinge similar to pain ran throughout my body. I quickly clenched my teeth as a strange voice was about to come out. Noticing that voice escaping through the gap, Nohl laughed from the back of his throat.
That is enough. I will retrieve it. Stand up.
The lighting in his eyes changes, like drastically, some of the time. Like right there, it just like changed all of a sudden, and it makes me uncomfortable. I slowly stand my tired body up while suppressing my chest. Nohl, with a dismissive glance, ordered me to lower my arms with his eyes. I mean, considering you've had your chest on his thighs for like the last half an hour, I think covering them up at this point is kind of pointless.
You want me to wrap your arms as well?
I resignedly lowered my arms. My exposed skin under the sun was hotter and sweatier than before. My skin trembled with a feeling of humiliation as I felt a cold gaze pour over me.
To think that a woman in line to be a princess could enjoy such things.
I'm not enjoying anything.
Well then, shall we take a look?
I reflexively turned away from his outstretched hand. After retreating, I remembered the conditions of our bet and quickly reasserted myself. I'm going to catch a cold.
A cold?
Yeah. Being exposed for so long, I'm going to catch a cold. And do you really want to win against a weakened opponent? I want to look up, as this is a childish excuse, even for me. However, that was the only thing I could come up with. I doubt that excuse would work with Nohl. Internally, I cursed my gutlessness, but...
Well, that is true. So, please lift your arm slightly.
Thinking about the devil-like ways he's able to bully, I unexpectedly show him my spirit breaking. As I was overcome at this tremendous change, Nohl ordered me again using his chin. Astonished, I raised my arms before he changed his mind.
Utilizing a wrap is quite rare.
Nohl carefully wrapped it around me, in the way a mother might do it for her daughter. How are you good at that? Asking for a friend? Maybe because of his horrible early demands, I felt that this was incredibly kind of him. What a terrible illusion. Yeah, but I want to know why he knows how to do that, though. I shook my head at being impressed at his skill.
Incidentally, why do you wear this?
They get in the way when I move.
You really are lacking in sex appeal.
Sorry to disappoint.
Oh no, there is nothing to be disappointed about. These aspects of you that respond so quickly, I shall protect that from the eyes of other men.
Can I punch you?
Do you need the paperweight?
No, thank you. Unless I'm gonna use it to punch you. Pervert, black-hearted, sinister, and... I cursed out in my head the words I can't say aloud. And as I ran out of names to call him, with nothing else to do, I looked at Nohl's face. I knew it! I was like, she's gonna be like, you suck, and I hate you, and you're gross. Oh, you're beautiful, though. This girl, her priorities, as long as you're a beautiful person on the outside, she's like, I'm fine with it. I love it. He does have a beautiful face, though. His face was as beautiful as the spirits that appear in folklore. Everyone would fall in love with him if he just didn't open his mouth. Yeah, I feel like his beauty might be a curse, though. We'll find out as we get into his route. However, what's behind that face is so twisted that it'd make even the devil blush. Maybe he isn't even human.
Do you find my appearance to be that rare?
Why?
You often study my face.
He caught me. I was thinking that your face, and only your face, is beautiful. No. Never. Never say anything about beauty with this guy. Gonna call it now. So where are you from? There we go. I was just wondering where you're from.
Does this have anything to do with our bet?
I suppose it doesn't. I couldn't possibly say I was cussing you out internally. That would be amazing, though. I just said it as an excuse that came to mind, but it is something I've been thinking about. Nohl's appearance was different from that of people from Rus and Nasla. Oh, you're from an island country. Okay, so you're not even from here. Wait. Are you from one of the countries where women are sold as slaves? Were you sold as a slave? Now I've got visions of his mom, like, working in a brothel, and that's why he knows how to, like, help with raps and stuff. Oh boy, I've got this whole backstory concocted in my brain. Now that I know he's, like, not from here, and the way he views women that are on auctions as slaves and things, I'm like, wait a minute. Alright, my theory gears are a-churning. We'll see if that comes to fruition later.
I'm from an island country north of this continent. And we're finished here.
He did answer her question, though. It was not necessary for the bet, but he did give her a little something. He finished wrapping me before I could ask why he came here, leaving me in a fog. I feel like it wasn't by choice. Why did he come here? But I couldn't stand being harassed again for asking a question. Later. I kept my mouth shut out of caution, and look at Nohl's face, which seemed to be expressing, "I did a good job," satisfaction. Thanks. Is it one of Nohl's aides? Having said it's time, someone must have been ordered here in accordance with work time. I quickly put on my remaining clothes and headed for the door. Oh, hi. This is awkward.
I'm coming in.
Toya? My eyes widened at the arrival of the person I'd least expected. Having something of a connection with him, I didn't really want him to see things in their current state. I wanted to hide the bloodstains on the bed, but by the time I realized them, he'd already noticed. Toya, having acknowledged it, had an unpleasant look on his face. Oh, Toya, I'm sorry. I'm not used to interacting with you anymore after, like, the choice has been made, so I'm like, eh.
No, have a seat. It must be painful for you to be standing now.
He stopped whatever I was going to say with a wave of his hand. Him being concerned about me further complicated my feelings. Toya, I feel like I'm gonna fall in love with you when it's your turn. After all, I hadn't even done the ceremony.
Naala, as you are now my wife, you must address His Majesty properly.
I was startled at Nohl's words, who was now putting on a face of that as my husband. I know this is the reality, but being treated like his wife and demanded as such gives me goosebumps.
Don't say such things, Nohl. Friends don't need to stand on formality.
Friends?
That's right.
He nodded deeply and turned to me. Instead of the usual "I'm sorry" look on his face, he now had a look of determination.
I just heard about what happened last night from one of my guards. I think I understand what you're willing to sacrifice yourself for, even if only a little.
You're still apologizing?
No. With the punishment having been carried out, I won't apologize anymore. Even if I apologize, that won't bring back your chastity. Apologizing would just anger you. That's why I've come to ask of you. Could you please find a way to be my ally?
Ally?
As I said before, I'm currently in an unpleasant situation. I believe we have to improve our treatment of women in order for our country to flourish again. But that's a dream that I can't accomplish on my own. It would help to have even one more ally that will fight alongside me. You may still hate me, and that's understandable, of course. But would you lend me your strength for the future of both our countries?
Improving the treatment of women will benefit both countries?
Yeah. We can stop kidnapping women from Roos and make peace between us.
Are you being serious?
This is something I've truly wanted for a long time. There's no way I joke about this.
How interesting we're getting the ally chat this early into the route instead of at the very end.
I know this is selfish of me, but I can show you everything in my heart as you finish the ceremony and have become a mother of Nasla.
Peace, huh? Given the current situation, it sounds like a fairy tale. However, Toya's eyes expressed sincerity as I felt his determination to make this happen. If this is how the king feels, then there's hope. But if there's opposition, then things may not go smoothly at all. Having listened to Nohl talk, I could understand that the country wasn't exactly unified, but the problems might be deeper than I imagined. Yeah, don't be impulsive. I noticed that Nohl's expression has not changed one iota since he interacted here. So I can't read how he feels about this, but I feel like we shouldn't be impulsive. As much as I'm like, well, yeah, obviously. But maybe I should wait and get a better understanding of the situation before deciding who I ally myself with. I'm still upset from everything that happened last night. If this is for the sake of both countries, I'd like to think more carefully about it. I think he's impressed.
Of course. My apologies for trying to get an answer out of you, so soon after you just went through an ordeal. Well then, Nohl. No matter how high you may be riding, having gotten yourself a beautiful wife, don't be late for the assembly. Please do not be jealous. I'm not. I'm not jealous at all.
That blush, though! Aw, Toya! Oh no, I'm so sad, Toya!
Of course you aren't. Well then, let us reconvene later.
Toya seemed like he wanted to protest, but Nohl pushed him out with a smile and closed the door. And it's like,
goodbye.
It was an attitude that made me want to ask if he really did respect his king. You two get along well.
We are agreeable with each other, I believe.
I wanted to ask about their relationship, but I was frustrated by his ambiguous expressions. Given that this is Nohl, he probably already knows what I'm thinking and is teasing me. You really are creepy.
I do not believe I'm any worse than people who pretend to be virtuous.
Only certain weirdos like you think that way.
Only fresh-bottomed young girls would think that way.
Fresh-bottomed girls, they make the rockin' world go round. What is a fresh bottom anyway? Nohl ignored me as I glared at him, cleaning up his desk. After finishing, he lightly straightened up his collar and approached.
Well then, let's go.
Where?
Did you not hear what Lord Toya said? The assembly.
You're taking me with you?
The minister we discussed. Orta will be there so you can get a look at his face.
The assembly? A political stage where the ministers gather. Is it really okay to bring a woman there?
In fact, as the political assistant's wife, it is only proper to introduce you at least once. There may be those among the 12 sages who will protest, though.
12 sages?
The 12 ministers who make up the assembly, including myself. My role is to gather their opinions, and the king serves as the chairman. Usually, with the exception of the military, the laws cannot be changed without majority consent from the 12 sages. However, if the proposal comes from the king, it may be approved with 1/3 of the majority. Even looking at just the problem with women, the reality is that we can't get that 1/3 consensus.
Which is why you need to bring in people with influence.
An accurate appraisal.
Then why don't you just choose people who agree with the king to be ministers in the first place?
With the exception of the political assistant, ministers are selected from predetermined family lineages. In other words,
the only person the king can pick freely is the political assistant.
Yes. Therefore, it is custom for the king to pick a political assistant who will serve as his arms and legs.
1/3. Which means that aside from Nohl, they need 3 other people to agree. You should be able to find 3 people that'll support you.
Please consider if you can say the same thing after you've witnessed the assembly.
Leave it to Nohl to answer in riddles. But if they had the supporters, I guess they wouldn't be having the troubles they are.
Also...
What?
I would like to avoid revealing that you are the king's sister, so please refrain from any careless words or actions.
Okay. I'm not the king's sister, but I would like to ask why anyway.
We are in the middle of our bet.
Yeah, and?
I would lose interest if anything interfered in our tete-a-tete. It would be in violation of my aesthetics.
Oh, the aesthetics, well. You sure do have weird tastes.
From my point of view, the idea to become a slave in place of your friend is plenty strange.
I haven't become a slave!
The time for conversation has ended. Come now.
The other ministers might view me as a slave after all. I hated just thinking about it. Just as we were about to leave the room with that crippling anxiety.
Speaking of...
Nohl had started forward, then suddenly turned around.
Before we go to the assembly, there is someone I would like to introduce you to.
Introduce me?
Yes, he should be heading here now.
Immediately, as Nohl looked backwards, there was a knock on the door. It had an orderly, stiff impression. Comparing it to when Toya entered earlier, I thought that the sound of knocking on the door also revealed the person's character.
Please enter.
Oh, you. Hello.
Please excuse me.
The person who entered was so well-proportioned and good-looking. Naala, from the moment you see him, you're like, wow. So attractive. So well-proportioned and good-looking that I found myself wondering if all Nasla royal officials were beautiful. It's a prerequisite at this point. He wasn't quite on Nohl's level, but he did have elegant dark blonde hair. Oh, okay, so Nohl's still like the most beautiful. Gotcha. However, what ruined all of this was his mask-like expression. His slitted gray, cold eyes reminded me of a doll, making his mood all the more inaccessible.
Lord Nohl, the assembly will be starting soon.
The man approached Nohl and lightly bent his hips as he spoke. I could feel his obedience even through this slight movement, seeing the depth of his loyalty. I wonder if this is the guy he wanted to introduce me to.
Esther, this person has become my wife as of last night.
With a glance in my direction, Nohl gave me a very simple introduction. The man called Esther was completely silent for about three heartbeats. What was he checking out during the silence? Esther blinked once gently, then bent his hips towards me. Yeah, he was interested in you. He thought that you might be able to shake things up here.
Understood.
Every move of his was polite. He was too polite, as if he were a doll whose strings were being pulled.
A pleasure to meet you, madam. I am Esther, Nohl's secretary.
I'm Naala.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
I feel like he made a face resembling that of a smile. Not that he actually wanted to smile, but his muscles moved in response to him feeling like he should. That's the feeling I had. While his facial features may differ, this impression was similar to that of Nohl's.
He works reliably for me every day. I'm sure you will cross paths with him in the future.
I see. That's why he wanted us to meet. He had to show his subordinate my face in order to keep an eye on my movements. In other words, he's shown me to Esther under the context of an introduction. He's your right-hand man.
Yes. Arms and legs.
Yeah. He used that expression for himself with Toya as well. Something more to that. Oh. From now? From this point? Start working on Esther from this point. Okay. Noted. So far, this feels better than it did with Naran, probably because Naala and Nohl haven't actually done the deed, you know? So it doesn't feel as bad? The whole relationship between them is just also totally different. Alright. Cautiously optimistic. We'll see how that goes. There's a deeper meaning behind that. Maybe because it's Nohl that's got me looking for hidden agendas in each statement. No, you got to, though, girl. He tilted his head slightly as I searched Esta's expression. His expressionless movements make him look like a machine. The weird thing was that I didn't feel nervous, even though this was our first meeting. Regardless of good or bad intentions, I felt like I was standing in front of a wild deer. Mr. Esta, nice to...
You may call me Esta.
Really? Even though it's fake, it's a bit relieving to see Esta speak with a smile. He isn't bearing his thorns as much as Nohl, though. Okay, Esta. Nice to meet you. As this might end up being a long relationship, a greeting is essential. Even if it is the subordinate of a guy I can't stand, holding a grudge against him would be a foolish waste of mental power. Thinking that, I extended my right hand towards him, but... Esta's line of sight froze at my hand. Intrigued, I tilted my head at this strange feeling.
I will allow it.
What? As I was confused, Esta nodded as if in understanding. He quietly came closer and took my hand. Maybe he can't touch Nohl's things without permission.
Nice to meet you.
This guy is kind of weird, but I like his eyes. His gray eyes are very pretty. He's polite, but he's got some peculiarities like his master. I'll keep my guard up with him too, just in case. Why did we have inner thoughts for Esta? I glanced at him and flinched at his staring gaze. Despite him glaring at me so strongly, I felt no subtlety of emotions from him, making me wonder if he really was human. Esta's warm palm was in contrast to my doubts, giving me a strange feeling.